Hi, it's Charles with CRC Plumbing, and we're here to drain this water heater, which should be done annually as suggested by the manufacturer. So the reason you want to drain these water heaters out is to get the sediment and the hard water out of the tank. That attacks the metal and shortens the life by thinning the metal. So we definitely want to get that calcium, hard water deposits out of the bottom of that tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the recirculation pump. This is this wire right here connected to the pump in line at the bottom. You're going to unplug the pump. You'll hear it stop. Now you've heard it stop. So we've got that off. Now what we need to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to put the water heater on pilot. That way the flame doesn't start up and everything's safe. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to come up and we're going to find the shut-off valve at the top of the water heater. And what that is that is going to be on your cold side, which is on the right. You're going to shut that water off there. Then we're going to find the drain valve at the bottom of the water heater. This drain valve is right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our hose. We're just going to connect the drain valve, the hose to the drain valve at the bottom. And as you're putting this on, go ahead and give it a turn or two with your channel locks just to make sure it's secure. And we're going to take our hose and we're going to stick it inside of a 5-gallon bucket. That way we can see our results on this. So now you're going to come to the drain valve at the bottom of the tank and get your screwdriver on there. Could be a thumb turn. Open that up. You hear a little movement. Until you let some air in the system, as we know, like letting your finger off a straw, it's not going to drain. So now we have to get some air movement going. There's two ways to do it. If you have a pressure relief valve that's going into your pan, like in this situation, you can pop this and you hear the air movement there. The nice feature about that is you don't have to disconnect it at the top. If your drain line's going outside and it's trapped, it won't let this happen. Then you're going to have to disconnect at the very top one of these nuts in order to get the air movement. Same theory. But as you hear, this one here is draining on its own. Now, if you do go to trip this to get your air movement in there, when you go to put it back, it's a spring-loaded valve. Just let the lever down. It's nice to give it a tap. Kind of seats the valve. So after you've hooked your hose to the drain valve and you got that draining, you need to come up to the top here, and either side will work. We just have to get air into the system to let it drain. So here I'm going to come to the cold side, and all I'm going to do is on this nut here, this top nut, I'm going to loosen that up, and you can actually hear it sucking air now. I wouldn't pull it off, just go ahead and loosen it till you hear it draw air. That way you can just tighten it back up. Nice easy thing, done. And it's a good idea to put a 5-gallon bucket at the end of your hose, because then you can see what's actually coming out of it. This one's in Thousand Oaks and it's not been in too long, so we're getting good results. So this drain out's fairly clean and it's working well. It's not always the case. Some of them are horrible. If you look at the situation we have on tape here, oh, it's insane. The water quality is just very low and there's a lot of stuff in it. The water that's coming out of this tank here is incredibly bad, filthy, and it's an older tank. So you'll see the difference. If we were to drain this on a regular basis, this could not happen. But as you see from what's coming out of this, it's horrible. It's just, it should have been done more, and I wouldn't be here replacing this tank. And we're going to tighten the nut at the top, clockwise, tightening. Again, if your flex is old, it might be a good idea to replace it. This is your water flex. It has a nut on each side, one here, one down here. Good to replace if it's an older flex. This one happens to be pretty new. I feel confident that it should seal. So now that your tank is fully evacuated from any of the water, leaving your hose hooked up in the open position, now what we want to do is we want to come to the main valve to the water heater and open that up like so. And now we're just going to cycle it through the tank and get rid of any loose sediment that's there. And I just tend to run that for 5 minutes approximately. Alright, now we've cycled the water heater tank for 5-7 minutes just to get anything loose out. So we're good to go ahead and shut this valve off here. We'll unconnect our hose. Anytime you disconnect any of these connections and reconnect them, definitely make sure you check your connections twice, if not 3 or 4 times, because a leak is a big problem. We can't have it. As soon as you've turned your water heater back on, make sure you go in your house before you plug in your recirculation pump, and what you need to do is blow out the lines. All you have to do is go and turn on the hot lines to each fixture. Leave them open for 4 or 5 minutes till you blow the air out. And then come back and plug in your pump. Very important, otherwise your pump's going to work extra hard, burning out the motor prematurely. Okay, now that you've refilled this tank, what we need to do is introduce the fire back to it. Make sure your water's not filling anymore at all. And then all you have to do is turn this from pilot to the on position. To do this process, you did not turn off the pilot at all, so it's still lit. So now all we're doing is turning this from middle position to the left. And you'll hear the fire go on. At this point, we're good, we're preheating. So now that you've done these steps, your tank is good to go, and it will give you many more years of good long usage and won't leak prematurely. Again, keeping your pressure right and draining these tanks out is the answer, and that's going to give you a long life on your tank. Now, if when you've done this process you're not getting a whole lot of sediment out of your bucket, you might be like, this isn't working for me, or it's something that I don't need to do. Don't go there, because I'll tell you, getting that hard water out of your tank is the answer to longevity on it.